Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty. Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Greetings. Welcome back to Soul Voices. I'm Griffin Gaming RPG, and today is Saturday, April the 6th, and we are happy to be here in the month of April, 4th month, going into the second quarter of the year. Hope you guys are just as excited as I am, and hope you guys are having a great Saturday and weekend. I'm Griffin Gaming RPG, as I stated, and this is Soul Voices, our show where we talk about subjects particularly from the areas of Spectrum, Reddit, the gaming industry, and sometimes stuff that just flies off the top of my head. And of course, it's all about Star Citizen, most of the time. So today we're going to be talking about that, and I hope you guys are having a good day. Let's see. Today's title, as you can see, Fooled in April. I didn't want to say April Fools, right? Because that's already gone past now. So we're going to say Fooled in April, and we're going to be talking about a little bit of foolery that went on during the month of April, at least from my perspective, and see what you guys think about some of the foolery that we're going to be talking about. Let's give some shout outs to some people who are here. I see we got Fast Cart, Stunner is here, Vaverick, Pops in Space, Citizen Ninja, good to see you, Black Sky, my buddy Kai out there, BSL is out there, Danger Hobo, good to see you as always, CC, my buddy from the West Coast, good to see you last night too, man. Hope you had a good time. I hope you had a good time last night. Let's see, Nomad 1701 is here, Charles DCI, everybody's here. Okay, we can start the show. You guys are here. I'm happy to have all you all here with me today, and let's get ready to pop into it. Again, the title for this is like Fooled in April, so we're gonna have some fun and we're gonna get into some deeper stuff as we go along here. So let's go ahead and migrate over to the next channel here and see what we can see. I'm getting a lot of doop things, and I shouldn't be getting them, and I don't know why I'm getting them. So give me 1 second here, gang, because we don't want the doops to happen while you guys are talking during the show. It's probably because this is unmuted. Let's do that. And I think that we should be okay at this point. Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right. So let's do our first topic for today. Boom. The MISC Raptor. Clean up a filthy galaxy. Yeah, you guys saw it. They came out with this April 1st new trailer for the MISC Raptor. If you didn't see it, I'm sure you did. But let's take a look anyway. What the heck?
Finally, an instant classic made to reflect you. The heroes this galaxy needs. Persistent, eternal, sanitary. None other exists.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Got to love it. Got to love it. Yeah. So CIG once again with the great troll right on the community. Would love to get some thoughts on the Raptor. Just a little bit of background on it, though. Some of you may remember that this idea of the Raptor has been bumping around for a little while now. In fact, if my memory serves me correctly, there were folks out there doing a little bit of detective work, right? Doing their data mining, and this name came up for the Raptor, and people were like starting these rumors about the new ship that was going to be coming into the game, the Raptor. And folks were pumped up, right? They were like, oh, this thing sounds great, a Raptor. In fact, they even gave us a little sneak peek last week, quoting from the movie Jurassic Park, clever girl. And yeah, we were trying to figure out what it was. I was like, okay, I didn't even think about it in relation to the Raptor. I just kept thinking Jurassic Park, what is it, But yeah, CIG dropped this Raptor on us. So this is just kind of a fun time to talk right now. What did you guys think about it? If you guys did hear the rumor ahead of time, whether you were unaware of the rumor, whether it was just the fact that it was April Fool's and you knew what was going on, were you interested in buying the Raptor? We're going to give you guys an opportunity to share all that. So let me bring down first. I think I got Pops in space here. Let me bring him in. Pops, you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, how are you?
Yes, I am fine. I am fine.
Good.
And
I feel good. Thank you so much for that subscription, whoever that was. I have to see who that was in a minute. Hang on one second, Pops. Let me get some credit out here before we get fired up. Meat. Thank you so much for that sub. Appreciate that for 2 months. Thanks for being here. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Pops.
Yeah, my mouth is poked out right now.
Why, Pops?
Yeah, man, I need this. I need this. Couldn't be an April Fool's.
So are you saying that you were looking forward to the Raptor, the ship, or you actually like the idea of the Raptor, the street sweeper?
Yeah, the street sweeper. Forget about the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
We don't need that.
Okay.
Last week, me and Jay, we were talking about janitor.
Okay.
Gameplay.
Okay.
And I've been, talking to my son about it. Man, this is needed. It's all you, like I said before, all you need to do is put a quantum drive on this thing, and you can just go through the verse and just clean up.
Just clean up. Okay. All right, Pops. I guess you took me literally when I said we're going to have some fun. So, okay.
Yeah, well, all right. On a more serious side, though, at least you could be in your hangar and clean, usually clean your hangar, just ride around and relax and clean your hangar. So, yeah.
Okay, so since you said a serious note, would you, if they actually made that thing available, do you think it would be something you would consider, or you say, nah, I don't think that?
Consider. I got 3. I've got 3 of them.
All right, you would buy them. Okay. All right, Pops. Yep. All right, Pops says yes. All right, thank you, brother. All right, let me bring in Fist to Face next. Fist, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What you got?
I would just like Pops. I would have bought this because when we talked about this topic a while back, right? Folks leaving their trash all over the the cities and points. This is gameplay right here.
You think there'd be people who actually want to do this as gameplay?
Oh, please. I've talked to Dig Dad. I've talked to a lot of people who say they are into the custodial gameplay.
Okay.
And I was surprised at first, and I was like, really?
Okay.
Like, yeah, I just want to do something like that. I was like, oh wow.
Okay.
And then it kind of made me think. I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you think that this kind of makes CIG look like they're money grubbing and that we're just desperate to do anything? So even if it's just doing street sweeping, we'll do that. Do you think that maybe that's what people are going to think? Especially people from the outside. They'd be like, man, now they're selling street sweepers. They was selling land, now they're selling street sweepers.
Look, for coming from somebody who used to see the game that way, it ain't you can't tell a person that until they get into it, until they're in it. You know what I'm saying?
Carbon Tails Q just said exactly what I was thinking. He said when there's a void of content, people will do anything.
So right, there you go. I mean,
So
I mean,
if
yeah,
the content,
right,
if
yeah,
the
yeah.
content was there, do you think people would still want to do it? If there were other things to do in the verse, do you think people would take on a mundane job like cleaning up, Lux bottles behind people? Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, fair enough.
I mean, you got to think about it. I mean,
I ain't got to think about it. You got to convince the people. I'm just asking the question. All right, I got
just
you.
Being real.
Okay, you think it would be?
I'm saying, think about it real quick. It taps into the Fisher Price little kids in us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You want some folks to maybe? Okay. I'm not saying here or nay. I'm just curious.
Right?
Okay. Listen, there are bigger Tonka trucks out there. I could be driving a what's the thing called a ballista or something. Do I want to drive a street sweeper? I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that's what some people might say.
Right.
So.
No, I get what you're saying.
Okay. All right. So you say yes. You say yes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I would have.
All right, Fist. Thank you much. All right. Let me bring the next one in. I want to say it was Stunner, I think. Let's bring in Stunner. Stunner, you there?
I am. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay.
So I was pretty sure it wasn't real because it didn't have any guns on it.
That's the first sign, right?
No, I'm just kidding. I heard and hear somebody say that, it's probably going to be used for something because it's a real model that they made. And I kind of agree with that. I'm not really into I don't really see the need for a street sweeper, but the more I looked at it and thinking about that, they made a model for something and they'll probably use it. The thing I started thinking about is bigger inside playable spaces, like the distribution centers coming, and maybe underground areas, because it's not really a vehicle that looks like it's going to traverse much on a planet surface.
Right. So could it, to your point, could it be something that is an asset, right? But it's not for us necessarily, but maybe, remember at one point, one of the big things that they were working on for AI was the janitor, right? So could this possibly be something that the NPCs use? Like you said, in other words, you go to the distribution center, it makes the place look alive. There's work going on. There's some guy out there doing a sweep, a sweeper of the streets that are in the distribution. You think maybe that might be something where it actually becomes a game asset, maybe not for us to purchase, but something that helps bring life to the verse. You think it could be that?
Yeah, definitely. Like we see even now, like in Orison and some of the cargo places, you see the forklift type vehicles or the other cargo transports. Yeah.
I kind of lean toward that a little bit more because the asset is made, and mind you, it could be nothing but a shell. But again, if we look at what CIG is doing, it honestly could be something that we could see that NPCs are using as a means of showing activity in life. And you raise a really good point about the cargo decks, because they've got forklifts and all types of stuff that's in there too. Yeah, it's a good point. All right, Stunner.
Smart use of time, you're an asset you create already and use it as a joke.
And use it as a thing. There you go. There you go. And to your point, CIG has been doing this dropping of hints stuff a lot, right? Remember the whole thing with the birds when it came down to the Boyds and, just these little clues and things that they've been doing. So I remember when the 404 came out, right? Which was actually the presumptive thing before the 400 came out, right? They kind of threw us off with that too. So we'll see. All right. Thank you, buddy.
All right.
All righty. Good stuff there. Let me bring in Kai Zinn next. Kai, you there?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Good.
All right. So this is just silly and stupid, and it's funny. It's like I'm not into reading all kinds of serious into it of like, well, what does this bode for the future? It's just a dumb little April Fool's Day joke. It's playful. They got however many thousands of people at this point working on all kinds of different things. You're gonna be able to break somebody off for a day or two and be like, go make a little funny April Fool's Day thing to jazz up the community. That's it. That's all it's got to be.
Well, you know what? I would say this.
It's great.
CIG has done two things, right? I remember, and you've been around for a little while. Remember when they did the thing with the Chris Roberts cologne, right?
Yep.
Quantum, some of you guys may not have around back then, but they actually did this whole ad thing for Quantum cologne, and it was priced ridiculously high. So I think $27,000 for the set. But then they have done things where, like I said, they've thrown us off. Like when they did the 400 series, they threw us off on that April Fool's with the 404, but then later on, the 400 actually did come out, right? So I'm wondering if, like you said, they utilize this thing and say, here's a, kind of like I don't want to say it's a stab at the community to a certain degree, because, the whole data mining thing was such a big thing and people have come to rely on that so much. And people were swearing up and down that the Raptor was going to be a ship. You know what I mean? They just knew this was going to be this ship. And lo and behold, it's a street, street cleaner.
When you get down to it, Raptor literally
Yes.
Raptor, the scientific term, just means a bird of prey.
Bird of prey. Yep.
Bird.
Exactly.
So like, I would bet any amount of money, $10,000. I would bet there will be a Raptor in Star Citizen at some point. A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, at launch, it'll be the name of some kind of, the aliens that are on the other side of the Vandal that they're scared of, that they're like, that we know nothing about them, whatever.
Something like that.
Somebody somewhere at some point is going to come in and they're going to be a Raptor. That it's just too cool of a name not to use. But like, that's all. I'm not thinking like, what? This is just a silly, dumb little joke, and it was funny, and I giggled and moved on with my day.
Okay. All right. Cool things. All right, buddy.
All right, brother.
Talk to you. All right. Next up, I think it was Captain. Yeah, I think it was Captain Serious Fun. Cap, you there?
Greetings, Agents. Griff, how are you?
I'm doing, buddy.
I'm good. So, for me, it is not. Things like this are not just. Are definitely not substitutes for content and gameplay.
Okay.
If we don't have things like this as content and gameplay, I think CIG will have missed a trick. And let me just give you an in real life example. 25 years ago, I used to run really, really intense restaurants in Times Square. Right? You got retail lines on the top floor with lines out the door. You got people at the register who are working for you who are crying because the lines are so long, right? You got super intense kitchen, people got to get the food out 14 minutes, 7 minutes.
Right.
It was hot. And the best place to be often during those times was in the dishwashing area.
Yeah.
With the dishwashers. That was meditative, relaxing activity that was actually well-being. Recover from all that the
craziness, right? Yeah.
So whether it's fishing or whether it's cleaning up around the verse, or there needs to be some of these levels of activities that are available to come in and just do meditatively and relaxingly and not to really have to think about it. I think that's a whole nother level of gameplay in the verse that can be really attractive to people. And you might find after a year or 2 years or 3 years of this being out as minimum viable retail product that people come back to you, and there's some meaningful percentage of people who are like, I just go in and fish for an hour, or I just go in and I ride the Raptor around and clean up for an hour and do my pattern. I don't even think about it. It's relaxing. It's enjoyable. It's meditative.
Yeah.
So I think it's got to be part of their content and gameplay mix.
We're doing a show tomorrow called "What's Wrong with Luxury," right? And part of that conversation,
surprise.
Yeah, right. But the purpose of the conversation is to talk about what is wrong with it, and also why do people have a problem with it, right? And to examine the reasons why people have difficulty relating to it, right? And sometimes we played games before that had these like consistent type of roles in some form, like the tank, the healer, the magician, things like that, right? And then we had variations on those, right? We get a different version of it just done in a different type of setting in a different genre. But the idea of opening up a world to allow people, we always have these catchphrases with game development, like you can do whatever you want to do, but then you get into the game and find out there's only so many things that you can do, right? Right. And that there are people, and I know this is weird, guys. I've got a buddy in Test Squadron who he has been talking about janitorial services for years. I mean, and not just as a joke. I mean, everybody knows this guy wants to do janitor stuff. You know what I mean? And at first I just think it was his bit, his little shtick. But no, he's really like, when he heard about the janitor thing, he said, oh, this is something I really would like to do. Now, what possesses this guy that he's obsessed about? Of all the things in this game, he talks about being a janitor is beyond me. It's beyond me. But there's something about that for him that he does. Now, I have this weird OCD thing, and some of you guys who played the game with me know this. I used to have this thing where I went around and picked up all the bottles and the gowns whenever I would come into a space station. I hated seeing all that junk spread out. So on my way, I would grab all that stuff and grab it. And yes, y'all, I threw them in the garbage can. I didn't throw them in my inventory. I literally threw it in the garbage can. I took the gowns, sold them. I went to the store and sold them all for 4 measly credits or whatever they were running for. And I did it as a pastime. Now, Was it because there was nothing else for me to do in the game? No, because quite often I was getting ready to go do something else in the game, and I just decided, I saw the mess, and I went and cleaned it up. Now, is that gameplay for me? I don't know. All I know is that there was something inside of me that made me want to do that. Now, if I had the tools to do it better, would I consider doing it? If they said, if you do this, like if you've got a mission or you're broke or you're waiting on somebody, I can do this and you get paid. There's a mission that says, go clean up, down by the freaking Whammer's place, right? And I can get paid 1,000 credits.
Right.
Would I do it? Would I do it? You know what I'm saying? Maybe while I'm waiting on my friends, I'll go down to Whammer's and clean up the freaking Whammer's. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is
and then in the background, that 1,000 credits adds up.
Oh, absolutely. And to my point is that what is gameplay for people can vary. And we have to be careful with that things that we dismiss as being idiotic or stupid or nobody would do it. There may be, when you open up that door or a world that says people can do whatever they like, not to become judgmental because somebody likes to sit at the chair and stare out the window and watch the ships fly in and out. And for them, that's what they want to do. Why don't you want to go do combat? Funny. No, I want to sit here and watch the Starfarers go in and out. You know what I mean? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
That's right. No, I was just going to say, do whatever you want. Sound like a video you were in this week too, by the way, but I'm not going to, I digress.
Rooster, I saw that, Rooster. That's not gameplay, it's mental illness. You know what? I would say it's not mental illness. I would say that it's something that Captain Serious Fun said, though, is that sometimes you just want to step into a world and chill. And it doesn't mean that you have to be driven by the money that's being made or driven by an activity or driven by a dynamic event. It's just the fact that you want to go in and do something. And maybe that's all you do. Maybe that's all you do is
sometimes the stuff you're doing in the real world is sick.
Yeah.
And you want to get a break from that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Wait a minute. It's kind of funny, Rooster, that you would talk about sitting and looking out the window or cleaning up is mental illness. And then you got people being psychopaths killing everybody in the game. And that's not mental illness. But I digress. I digress. Okay. Anyway, thanks, Cap. Let me get some other folks in here, man. All right. Thank you, bro. Let me get Mr. Togi, the T in. Mr. T. Togi, you there?
What up?
Oh, the vehicle man. Oh my goodness. How you doing?
I was so disappointed that it was fake. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy this. I could clean up so much evidence with one of those. What do you mean, security officer?
After
I
murder,
see no blood.
After the murders,
where are the blood? Where are the bodies?
The
you can't get crime without a crime scene.
The chalk marks of the blood are all being cleaned up. I know. I thought about you too. I said, Togi's going to find some weird, unique use.
I clicked on that thing and I was like, oh, I forgot what day it was.
That's funny. That is so funny.
But on a serious note, like this thing could be used for routine base maintenance.
Yes.
They're gonna have wear and tear on bases too.
That's true. That's very true. And again, like I said, even if the players don't have it, I can easily see it being an asset for NPCs when you go to a distribution. So remember how the distribution centers all have roadways and stuff leading into them?
Yeah.
Could you see a guy on the cargo deck moving around, moving cargo?
It's there as decoration.
It's just there. Yes. Definitely an asset that could be very viable. I'm not vying for, guys, listen, seriously, I'm not vying for it to be for players. All I'm saying is that I think that it could turn up as a practical use, just as it was used as a practical joke. Go ahead.
I don't think they should sell it for real money.
Yeah.
But I think something that you should be able to buy in game. Even if it's just decoration for your base.
Yeah.
To add a little bit of flavor. Why not?
Or then, like you said, you could rent it. Like I said, if you get a mission that says go clean up this area, it's not yours. You just rent it, you use it. It belongs to the station. Who's going to, have a freaking what do they call them thing? Is
Zamboni.
Zamboni. I was thinking Kurt be out there polishing the ice outside the lake, and so people go out and skate, right, or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's a good idea if they make it available.
So I can quit hitting them with my grand bike.
All right, Togi. Thank you, brother. All right, let me bring in Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral, you there?
Yes, sir. I am.
Yes, sir. What you got?
I think people would probably like to buy it for the capability. Or that coin, I forget what it's, token or whatever. But I think what people have talked about is content, and I think what they're talking about. I'll just go with the content thing, and I think what we might see here is, we'll say Microtech, right?
Okay.
They have a mission and you have to go. You take the mission, and you go to would be a cleaning service, and you are contracted, or you get an employment position.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to be a driver, right? I didn't own a $40,000 or $50,000 luxury car to drive people around.
Mm-hmm.
I would go pick it up,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was finished with my job, I would drop it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they could do with this probably just have something similar.
Yeah.
Where you go to your job, you get in the vehicle, and when you finish your little routine around the car, you drop it off, you get paid.
Yeah.
And I think that would be that people want to, get paid to just drive around and listen to music and not have to worry about getting shot and killed. Then this is a good way to do it, at least to earn some money so they can do bigger and better things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very practical. And again, we don't see the whole roadmap of what CIG has laid out, but you remember I was talking about the distribution centers, and I remember them talking about how the distribution centers have different areas to them. There's like an executive area. There's a production area, a labor area, there's a storage area. And so, like you said, who's not to say that whether it be an NPC or a player, these units don't come out and they're polishing the floors on the executive. Like when you go into we were in the Hurston CBD yesterday, right, with the polished floors and everything, and it's all nice and clean, right? Weirdly enough, there were no bottles on the floor in there last night. That's kind of funny. Usually you see a bottle. Maybe people respect the Hurstons. I don't know, but it was polished and clean in there. But who's not to say that maybe CIG will implement this in some form, whether it be for players or NPCs. But I'm sure, Captain, to your point, there will be or Admiral, there'll be people who would take missions like that just to pass the time, or that's just what they want to do in the game. I don't put anything past players anymore of all the things that they want to do in a game.
I see Captain Serious Fun has the similar idea, so
yeah,
that's why we like each other so we get along.
All right, Admiral. Anything else?
No, I think it's it.
Okay.
I don't think people really. I guess you could buy it for your own hangars and stuff like that. But are you really throwing your hospital gun in your own hangar in your own place?
Yeah.
I kind of think people might clean up their own stuff. It just depends on. I don't know where trash is going to come from in the future. Or, if I clean my ship, is it going to leave a rime everywhere?
Well, Togi talked about where, and I don't know if that's going to be something that impacts hangars in some form. Who knows? But if your hangar gets dusty or something, I don't know. Again, possibilities, right? It could be anything. I could theory craft all day about what this thing could be used for. I definitely see a very practical use for it, though, with NPCs as making an area feel like it's alive and activity going on. But whether the players will get it, we'll have to see with time.
Okay, Spock. I appreciate that.
All right, buddy.
Possibilities.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, last but not least, let's bring Fast Card in, then we'll get to our next topic. FC.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Yeah. They according. Well, I'm gonna start this way. On Thursday, we talked about this, and someone in the chat said that they talked about the Raptor. They started talking about the Raptor back 6 months ago. That's when they found it in the engine or the code or whatnot. So CID been playing a long game, and that surprises me. I was not expecting to, they've been playing this for 6 whole months, or maybe like you said, it's a real ship, and CID decided to capitalize it like they did on the 404 and the 400 series. So if they did it either way, it is impressive to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I first heard someone mention it, I'm trying not to hear about spoilers, trying not to hear about leaks and whatnot. So when people say the Raptor, I was like, la 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 la. I don't want to know anything. So even it didn't catch me by surprise because it was released on Monday, on April 1st. But if they released it on, that Saturday or on Monday, I might have taken it more seriously. But that's me.
Yeah. Well, again, like you said, we don't know what's going to happen. It is an asset that they've created and built. Whether it's a working asset, don't know. But I did. To your point, I did find it interesting that they dropped it in a while back and just kind of let it simmer. Let it build up its own momentum. And like I said, some people didn't care. Some people got all hyped up. But hey, this is what we got for right now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Every April Fools, I look forward to seeing what they're going to do, and this one was definitely one that delivered like some of the other weekends have.
And this is the first time, as far as I can tell, that they released it as a sneak peek.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's true, and that kind of that probably fit the fire too a little bit, by them doing that, because we look forward to the sneak peeks, right? And especially recently, they've been really dropping not that stuff that was just concept art and way out in the distance, but I think if I'm remembering correctly, the image for this was definitely an in-engine image. It wasn't a concept art, so people definitely felt whatever this was, it was built. And lo and behold, there it is, the infamous Raptor. So. Okay.
And at the very least, I think that it'll be available for NPCs at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah. I think that's reasonable, right? Based upon what we know about where they want to go with the game and the development, I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up there. So, okay.
Yep.
All right,
that's
buddy.
all I got.
Thank you much. All righty then. All right, very cool, gang. Let's move on to this next one. I need to move a mouse pad here. Let's close that off. Roadmap Speedup. We did a show a couple of weeks ago called Star Citizen PTSD. And we were talking about, or I was talking about, I raised the point of that I've noticed that people have a certain reluctancy or hesitance to I'm going to say this a certain way, y'all, so don't take it the wrong way when I say this. They have a certain reluctance to acknowledge the fact that things seem to be moving faster, that things are coming finally, that CIG may be possibly prepared to deliver things that we've been literally waiting on for years. There's still kind of a, well, let's see, or, well, I'll see it when I believe it, or it's going to be another 2 years. There's still a lot of that still going on out there. And so I wanted to talk about it a little bit more this week and talk about, is there a roadmap speed up? Even though we don't have the full, progress report and so right now, let's base it upon what we've seen over the past few months. Let me highlight some things that were listed in the roadmap this week. One of them, and you guys, we've been talking about, we knew it was coming, was fauna, something that we've been looking for years. I remember back when fauna first got mentioned, just to tell you all how far back the idea of fauna, it's coming was when we got Hurston. That's how long ago it was. When we got Hurston, we saw those little floaty brain looking things floating around. We're like, oh God, fauna, it's coming, it's coming. That was years ago. Okay, when we were talking about fauna coming into the game. As you guys know, some of the fauna that's just been introduced into the Ep73 build has consisted of the Copium. The Copium populates the persistent universe with populating the persistent universe with the Copium is an aggressive, agile animal that travels in packs. You'll find them in a variety of areas, from grassy fields to lurking in the darkness of caves. They've narrowed that down too. I don't know if you guys noticed that before, because before they had it in multiple biomes, but on the report, now maybe that'll still be the case, but they did narrow it down now to grassy areas and then also in caves. The other one is the Marok, populating the persistent universe with the Marok, a passive flying bird-like creature. Maroks live in flocks and are often found near lush green environments. They also had put that in multiple different biomes. CIG has to work through stuff, right? And they've worked it down. So these are going to be the areas where you can find these things, which makes sense, right? Because you don't want to have to find the bird everywhere, even though that could be the case. But it's better to know that if I want to find this particular bird, I've got to go to a grassy area. If I want to find this particular animal, this beast, I've either got to look in a cave or I've got to go look out into a grassy area. So that's kind of cool, right? But then they threw this in with new missions, creature hunting, new missions that require players to locate, kill, and retrieve valuable parts of creatures roaming in the environment. So this is kind of looks like they're moving toward this thing of moving toward crafting a little bit more, right? A couple more things here they've got. Vehicle modularity. We've been talking about this one for a long time. Modularity with vehicles goes back to the early days. If those of you all who weren't around back when the Avenger came out, the Avenger originally was supposed to be modular. It was going to be a modular ship. The Caterpillar is still designed to be modular, but that was one that people used to talk about for a while. But it goes way back, way before the Bucks with the Warden series or any of that stuff. There's supposed to be modularity. And even the Retaliator, when it came out, was announced that it was going to be modular, okay? Implementing the ability to swap modular systems in certain vehicles to change their function. The initial release contains a torpedo and cargo room modules for the Aegis Retaliator, with additional modules and vehicles to be added in the future. So many of you guys know that when they built the Retaliator, they didn't build those two center sections where the torpedoes are. They were actually built into the ship. They weren't like separate containers. Because back then we didn't have the object containers where we had containers inside of containers. It was just one ship. The bomb racks were attached and everything. So they had to go back and do all that stuff over again so that those bomb racks are now inside of the containers, the modules that come out. The other modules that are there's cargo modules, there's living quarter modules, and then there's a dropship module that goes with the Retaliator. But in the beginning, they're going to give us the torpedoes, which we have now, and then we're going to get a cargo variant. Okay, or the cargo version, the module that you'll be able to put in. The Aegis Retaliator will go to gold standard. Updating the Aegis Retaliator to gold standard, including the introduction of modular rooms. The torpedo and cargo rooms will be available with this initial release, with more to come in the future. These cards were added into the progress tracker again now, or not the progress tracker, the roadmap. So they're back working on the Retaliator. They started doing it about 2 years ago, I think, maybe a little bit over 2 years ago. Then they stopped with the modularity, and now they're saying, we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Okay, so you're asking, Griff, what is the question here? The question is, back to this here, roadmap speed up. Do you feel that CGI is speeding up? I'm going to put one more caveat onto this. At CitizenCon in October, CIG showed us a lot of stuff, and they've done this at CitizenCons for years and years and years. They've showed us stuff. Over the last few years, they've really strayed away from talking about time frames and timelines and things that this is going to be out by this time. They've stayed away from that. But at this CitizenCon, they got on stage and talked about timelines. One of them came from Chris Roberts. Chris Roberts said, most of what you see here this weekend, we want to try to deliver to you by 12 months, a year from now. So from October to October. Then after we came back from CitizenCon, we were waiting on 322. Remember, everybody was wondering if 322 was going to come out before the end of the year. Well, lo and behold, boom, we got 322. And most of it, everything was in it. The only thing that wasn't in it was fog and clouds. Those were the only things that were not in there. Okay. But they delivered most of that stuff right then and there. Within 2 months of us having CitizenCon, we had this stuff in our hands. Then at the end of the year, Disco comes on board and says, listen, here's some stuff we want to give you guys within the next 6 months. We're going to speed up the process, and there's some things we're going to give you in 6 months. Lo and behold, within 6 months, we get a whole bunch of new stuff coming our way, right? Getting ready to launch into this probably this month in April. We know that Evocati's already testing out. A lot of that stuff in 323 was stuff that we saw in CitizenCon. That still gives us, believe it or not, if they deliver that stuff in April, that gives us May, June, July, August, September, October, another 6 months. That's another 6 months of stuff that they can give us based upon what we saw in CitizenCon. So, and mind you, they're giving us some stuff too that we haven't even seen, that we didn't know about. So my question to you guys is this. With the transition with Squadron 42 becoming feature and content complete, and knowing that the staff now has been given all hands on deck to work in the persistent universe, do you feel that things are going to speed up, that things are speeding up? Do you feel like there's no evidence that things are speeding up? What are your feelings about how things are going now with the progress of development? Okay. So let me bring in Red Bear. Red is here. If I can get him, I had to change my mouse because my other mouse is acting crazy. Red, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you, my friend?
Yeah, fine.
Good.
Fine. Thanks for the game yesterday. It was a nice experience.
It was. I had a good time. I think everybody did. Thank you.
Yeah. About the roadmap speed up, I think yes and no.
Okay.
The yes is I think we will see the speed up because they have all the features and gameplay complete from Squadron.
Okay.
We will see them pretty quick in the upcoming releases. But after all those features and game loops or whatever it is are over in the PU, I think we will see another stagnant in speed. That's what I expect.
Are you seeing stagnancy in the persistent universe or stagnancy in relation to the next Squadron 42 chapter coming out?
No. In
the persistent universe?
Star System, sorry. Yes.
Okay, in the persistent. Okay, in the P. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have put it all into. Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. That was so loud. Oh my God, Captain Jones. Oh my God, thank you for the 5 community subs. Thank you. Y'all, shout outs to Captain Jones for that. Thank you for supporting the community. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Red.
Yeah, so what I think is that as soon they have put all the load from what they have from Squadron 42 into Star Citizen, because they have made it already.
Okay.
They come onto another roadblock, in my opinion.
What do you think the
Because
roadblock would be? What do you think the roadblock would be? Because CIG has usually told us what the roadblocks are. What do you think the next, if there's one, what do you think it might be?
I mean, not so much a roadblock on the tech. I mean, the tech will go on, but I think it's the making the features and the game loops and that sort of stuff getting into the PU.
Okay,
and that will be another roadblock that people have to wait for.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because we have still the medical is not totally complete. Refinery is not complete. Well, we have the manufacturer, what you just mentioned, is also not complete.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of other things that might be worked on as well. So that will take a while before they have it all done.
So you think that it's not going to necessarily, you don't think it's really speeding up per se?
I think eventually, the first year, I think.
But then after that, it might taper off.
Feel
the
extra push.
Okay.
But after the initial push,
it'll slow down.
Drop exactly. Because they have to make the new content again, and I'm pretty sure they're working on it already.
Okay.
But it will still take a while before they have flushed it out.
Okay.
And if you want to know how far they are, you can just ask them where they are with an let's say refinery. Then, if we talk about it, then it is still in the making. They still have not thought about it.
Okay. All right.
That will take a while.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Red. Thank you very much for that. We'll see. Thank you. All right. Let me bring in Fist to Face next. We'll bring in Fist. Hey, Fist.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay.
I am going to be on the side of Red in that way. Same way too. Mine is more of like, I would say yes from a point of some of the things like we've seen, like with the map, like that. Stuff like that, I think will speed up. But like things like I know server meshing is doing well, or it has its ups and downs.
Okay.
But I think, as we know, especially with stuff like that, from a technical things, those things sometimes can have big hit. Excuse me, sorry. I'm hiccuping on my words. I'm getting ready to say the word hiccup. So I think those are the things that, to me, that I see that are going to be the big hurdles for them, that are going to be the slowdown.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
That's fair. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, let me bring in Togi next. Togi, you there? By the way, you guys can click on the link and come in and talk. Feel free. We'd love to hear what you guys think about this, so feel free to come in. Go ahead, Togi.
What up?
You got it.
So how do you speed up stuff that's already late?
Okay.
This is one of those things. We've got the roadmap. Why be more confident in things releasing than CIG is?
Okay.
All right, go ahead and you look at the roadmap. We just had a roadmap update. What, Wednesday? And how much of the stuff for 323 is listed as committed? The character customizer, reputation hostility, and dynamic crosshair. That's it. That's the only things they're not reserving the right to pull. So can you really blame people for looking at the roadmap and just being like, yeah, maybe I'll believe it when it's here.
Yeah.
Especially given 12 years of that always being the right attitude. I mean, there's no reason to be like overly negative. But sometimes, reserving that little bit of hype until we're closer to the thing is kind of important, especially in this. Because, I mean, if you were hype the last 12 years, you've got no more hype to give at this point.
Yeah. For some people, I genuinely know that for some people, it's almost like a protecting their brain and their heart and their head. You know what I mean? because there were times when maybe they thought that there was enough evidence to show that something was going to happen, and then it didn't happen, and they may have been disappointed, or they thought it was going to blah, they listen to their favorite content creator and blah, 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 blah. So now they're a little bit, not skeptical, but just, holding back. They're holding back.
At it is, I'm stuck in this car and I need to pee. All right. Like, I don't want to get out of the car because that's not going to help anything.
That's interesting analogy, Togi. Thank you. Oh my God. That's funny. Let me bring in Pops in space next. Pops, you there?
Yes, ma'am. Hold on, I gotta pee.
I know. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, Pops?
No, I agree with Togi.
Okay.
If I would have been here, from the beginning, because those people went through, you and a lot of the people that you went through some hard times, and so I don't blame anybody for having that. That little bit of salt and that little bit of awareness, a little caution thing that we do. And you should go into this with hey, it'll get here when it get here, even though they're testing it right now. Because things like, my son said, things can happen, things can mess up, and they may need to delay. But when I was at CitizenCon, I did believe what Chris said. But I'm also prepared for, delays.
Okay. Okay. That's more than fair, Pops. I appreciate you coming in and giving me your thoughts, brother. All right. Last but not least, let's bring in. Whoa! I moved myself up here. I got to bring North End down here. Let me bring in North End Trooper here. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good.
So I think it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. I think it's fast and I think it's slow in the way you perceive it.
Okay.
It's fast as we are in the PU and only in the PU, and we're seeing all this new technology and content coming in, especially in the last 2 months. And I'm also including 323.
Okay.
But we have to remember that I'm going through the cards right now, and I'd say about half of it's coming straight from Squadron 42. So that stuff's already been developed.
Right.
So we're just getting the opening the dam portion of seeing the stuff that's already been built for another game, technically, and it's being imported here. So for me, it's a yes and no. I think we'll probably get a better answer once we get all the Squadron 42 assets and technologies in here, the EVA Tier 2, the FPS, the dynamic crosshairs, loot screens, so on and so forth. Once they're all in, the dust settles, then we can revisit how quickly they're going to start pumping out new content, new systems, more missions. Others have mentioned that we're missing the hacking, the farming, the manufacturing. Once we kind of see stuff that's been either blocked by technology and or lack of resources, once the master importing comes into the PU, and then they start building up on the stuff that we've been wanting for years, that will give us I think a better, clear understanding. Is it truly coming faster or not?
Okay. All right. That's more than fair. A little bit of gave me a little bit of both sides on that one. So fair enough. Well and balanced. Thank you, bro. All right. Let me bring in FC Fast Card. What's up, buddy?
Hey, so this may sound like a joke, and I don't mean it like a joke, but it's like the development has been going on for 12 years. Is it possible that people are like we don't know anything else other than the game had been in development when it comes to Speedup. So people may see, oh, the end is in sight, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but maybe it's like, no, let's keep this ball rolling.
Yeah.
Because, some people like me, for instance, I'm used to community. I don't know what I would do without the community. Not to say the community will vanish when development is or when the game's complete. So some people may feel differently, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll give my prediction. Go ahead. We were something else. Go ahead. No, there's something else you're going to say.
No, I was done.
Yeah, my prediction is this, gang, And I tell you what, you guys can hold me to this, okay? You guys can honestly hold me to this by the time CitizenCon comes around. Okay, we'll see what happens. But it actually needs to go beyond CitizenCon, to be honest with you. My personal observation is that things are speeding up. And I'm pulling that not from what we have, but as much as some things that have been happening. One of them is definitely the movement of resources, right? And that's a speed up, right? It doesn't mean always that if you add more employees, things go faster, but there are situations where it does. And North End mentioned something earlier. A lot of what's being moved into the persistent universe is stuff that is completed in Squadron 42. They just have to make it work within the MMO environment. So some of the things that were mentioned earlier, for example, you guys know that Ep73 had been doing testing on the jump points. That's static server meshing, and we know that they want to do dynamic server meshing. That's the other hurdle that I'm still concerned about, is the dynamic server meshing, but the static one I'm not. We already know from the reports of Ep73 that it worked. We know that from Ep73 that there was testing that was done where they increased the population in the servers from 100, 150 to 400, up to 750. This has all happened within the last couple months, right? We know that, again, there was all hands on deck of everybody moving from Squadron. 4 years ago, we were told, or 3, whatever long ago it was, we're going to start moving resources over to Squadron so we can get that finished. They moved them over for 2.5 years. Boom, they got it done. Now they've taken those resources and said, we're going to swing it back the other way. We're going to start putting the emphasis on. So for me, that says within the next year to 2 years, things are going to step up because there's an attitude toward focusing on this. Now, I'm going to say something now that I know is going to probably piss some people off. The reason why Griff only has a half a hair of gray hair and not all gray hair is because no matter what I do with this game, when I play it, it is still, and I know people hate this because they think it's a cop-out, but what keeps me sane is that this game is an alpha. An alpha is not a finished product. An alpha is a place of working on concepts. It is a place on testing. It is a place on trial and error. That is all we have been playing. It's all we've been playing. There are times when we play it and it feels like a game. It feels real. We have those days where things go great. You get on for 6 hours, 7 hours, no problem. Then you get those days where you log in 3 or 4 times within 15 minutes and it crashes. Both of those are fair game in an alpha. They are fair game in an alpha. We may not like it. It's a big freaking horse pill to swallow, but it is fair game in an alpha. Now, some people will say, yeah, but it's been an alpha 12 years. There are games that stay in development for years and years that you don't ever see, that I don't ever see until they get to a beta level or they get to an early access level. That's not weird. Yeah, it takes a long time for this game, but they're also trying to do a few things a little differently. And I'm saying that's what keeps me sane. I think if you ever drift into the idea of when you play this game that this game is live and ready and playable, you're fooling yourself. It's playable sometimes. Sometimes it's not playable. But that's because it falls. That's why they keep calling it an alpha. If they stepped outside of alpha, then every freaking criticism we give them would be 1,000% on point. But the fact that it is not a commercially released game, the fact that it is not beta, the fact that it is not, quote unquote, what we consider a finished game, as much as we don't like it, it's still a game in development. And so that's a tough place to be. And it's a tough place for us to be as players because players want to play games. Players don't want to play alphas. We don't want to play games in development. We want to play finished products. And it becomes very, very tough for us, right? Yeah, I know, Togi, playable now. Yeah, the alpha is playable now. I agree. It is. We've talked about that, right? The whole playable now thing. But listen to what I'm saying. It is playable now. What does playable mean? It is playable now. I played last night for 4 hours with my friends and we ran into no problems. It was playable. And then there are those days when it ain't so playable. And all I'm saying is that alpha banner, as long as it's hanging over our heads, it's a big horse pill to swallow, but it's a reality. And I know we don't like that. I know we don't like it. I don't like it necessarily either. But I tell you one thing, that's why I don't go crazy. That's why I don't lose my mind. I get frustrated.
I've said,
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating. I think it just becomes truer as time goes on. Because maybe like in 2016, when they started saying Star Citizen Alpha, people knew better back then. But I think as time goes on, people, more new players come in. They think Star Citizen Alpha is the name of the game, not the state of the game.
I know you said that before. I've never heard anybody tell me they thought this name of the game was Star Citizen Alpha. I've never heard that before. Maybe you have, but I do agree with you on this point that people who have been in the game longer versus people who are in the game, more recent, their levels of addressing the brokenness or the lack of whatever in the game are two different perspectives, Last night we were in, one of my buddies came in, he was playing a game and it was his first time playing. He was here 10 years ago playing the game. Oh yeah. He came in back in 2014. Okay. And we played it when it was just Port Olisar and Cryastro. That was it. Something like that. Right. He came back to the game yesterday and was a person in complete wonder of what was there. Amazed at every aspect of the game. And one of the people who was in our room, I don't know who it was, I think it might have been Daft or somebody, said, it's really something to sit here and hear somebody who comes into the game and listens to it and they see something entirely different than us who've been in the game for a long time. And what he was saying is that those of us who've been in the game for a long time have gotten to a point where we've taken things for granted and we've gotten so used to them as a norm and forgotten that these things are definitely not the norm in gaming. Whether it's the details in the game, whether it's traveling through space, whether it's walking on your ship, we have actually forgotten how incredible that stuff is in gaming because we've gotten used to it, So yeah, again, Fiz, I know I'm making some people upset here, and I know y'all want to embrace the whole alpha versus not alpha, playable versus playable thing. I just spoke for myself, I just spoke for myself in relation to how I cope with the issues of this game. And I'm going back to my original question, which was about, is the roadmap speeding up? And I personally think, y'all catch me in by CitizenCon. Let's see whether or not CIG not only does what they've said, but does more. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's not going to be what we know about, but maybe some things that we don't know about that are going to start happening in the game, because I think CIG has a clock ticking against them. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think at this point, ever since they said we're done with Squadron, a clock has started where people are saying, okay, the reason or excuse, whatever you want to call it for Squadron is gone. We've been waiting. You owe us something now. And I think that CIG is going to do their best to deliver that at this point. And they know that they have to deliver it. They have to bring some customer satisfaction to us so that we feel like the wait was worth it. They cannot afford. Now, I mean that literally in the meaning of the word afford. They cannot afford for this thing to drag on. Some people will say, oh yeah, well, if they drag it on, they'll keep bringing in money. Nope. I guarantee you, nope. There's a certain expectation in all of our minds right now where they are right now okay, y'all, it's time to put up or shut up. It's time to deliver. We've waited patiently. We're happy Squadron's coming out, but yeah, we got to see this thing now. Okay. That's the reason why I think things are going to speed up, guys. Not just because of any physical evidence or anything like that. I think it is important to them as a business, as a company, and their obligation to this community that they will step up the game at this point. So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay. All right, FC. Thank you, my brother. All righty. Let's get to this last topic. I love y'all. Even if y'all don't like what I said, I still love you. Okay. What's the last one? I forget what the last one is. Oh, I know what the last one is. It's this. Boom. CitizenCon. Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. CIG put out a big thing yesterday, and we were talking about things speeding up. Here's something else that sped up. CIG has never in the history of CitizenCon started telling us information about CitizenCon this early. Never. They have never done this before. Ever done this before. And so this is like a new thing. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. They're sharing us information. They said, we're going to get out information to you early. And boom, they did. Then they said, we're going to give you out some more information about it. And boom, they did. So I want to read this to you guys. Give me 1 second here. I got to go back on the tracker thing and find the QA. God, how do these people type so much stuff in here in so little time? Community booth applications, alpha, cargo. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get to the cosplay, CitizenCon FAQ. There we go. All right. So I'm going to read this to you guys. There's nothing really to show you on the screen, so I'm going to read it. We have 195 days till CitizenCon. CitizenCon is back, bigger than ever for 2954, touching down in Manchester Central on October 19th and 20th. This extraordinary two-day event brings the pan-galactic celebration of our incredible community to Manchester, England. Building on last year's phenomenal show, CitizenCon 2954 promises to be an even more expansive and immersive affair and a place where we can once again come together to share our victories while looking forward to the ever brighter tomorrow. Strap in, pilot. Be prepared yourself. Blah, 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 blah. CitizenCon is coming, okay? The tickets and stuff. Mark your calendars. Tickets will be available in 2 tiers, both in limited quantities. Here's a breakdown. Now, this is interesting because they say it's going to be limited quantities. Now, last time we were in LA, they had a little bit over 3,000 people there. And now, I don't know if they have limited quantities, but we were in a really big room, right? But they were in a convention center, and you can kind of expand rooms there. But anyway, we had a little over 3,000 people. When we're over in the UK and Germany, the numbers are always less. A few less people. I think it was like 1,219 in 2019, something like that. Usually the numbers are a little bit bigger in the US, but this was the biggest one, over 3,000 people, okay? Your ticket for both days of CitizenCon also gets you exclusive swag, both physical and digital. CitizenCon 2954 Premium Experience ticket. Elevate your experience with this extremely limited upgrade. Add VIP perks to your ticket, including dedicated private lounge, priority access lanes, extra physical and digital swag, discounted merchandise, and more. That's something a little bit different that they're doing, right? That they did that years ago. They did this thing before where you got like the VIP access and all this other stuff. But anyway, they're doing that. Starting on April 11th, early access will be open exclusively for concierge and subscribers. The following days, blah, 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 blah. They've changed this whole thing about ticket sales and whatnot, okay? Let me go to the FAQ. And let's see. You know what? Fast Card, I see you're back in the chat, so I will bring you down here with me because I don't mind you being in here with me while we open this topic up. Okay, so it says, where is this taking place? We know it's in Manchester Central. It's going to be at their convention center there. What will the opening and closing times be? They're going to change it around this year. Day 1 on Saturday the 19th will be a much longer day than previous CitizenCons. In contrast to day 2, the 20th, that's Sunday, and that'll be a shorter day, ending earlier than previous CitizenCons. A detailed schedule will come out later. Do you have any information about what content to expect? We'll share more information closer to the event. Check this out, including schedule of panels and insights into physical attractions to be found in the show floor. Can you share any more information about the gala happening on the 18th? This is something different they're doing this time, guys. This event will take place at a separate venue in the greater Manchester area. Those attending can expect an unforgettable night of exciting, check this out, reveals, extra special guests, themed fare, okay, guided tours of the brand new Manchester studio. Tickets to this event will be extremely limited, with a very small number being made available. More information on ticket sales and stuff will be coming in the months ahead. And then they go into the whole thing about, I couldn't get a ticket. Will more tickets be available? I can't make it to Manchester. Will it be live streamed? Blah, 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 blah. All the regular questions people ask about CitizenCon after that, okay? Will they be offering digital goodie packs, physical bags, all that other stuff? Yes, 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 all that other stuff. Do you have to be a person on the game? No, you don't have to be. Can you purchase for your friends and family? Blah, 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 blah. All those questions come up. Can you cosplay? Yes. What should you bring? Yes. All that good stuff. Okay. So FC, you're here with me. And here's my thing. After last year's CitizenCon, people who went really had a great time and thought it was really good. And those of us who've been before thought it was probably one of the better CitizenCons that they've done. But even since 2016, there's always been this thing of, man, whenever they're ready to kick off Squadron 42, they're probably going to like pull out all the stops. You know, they're going to maybe they'll bring in some of the actors and maybe they'll do this and they'll show a trailer, blah, blah, blah. One of the questions here that comes up, and nobody really asked it, or maybe they didn't want to address it, is, will you show anything about Squadron 42? Okay. What are your thoughts? Do you think that, what do you think is going to make this CitizenCon special this year? What's going to be so different about this one? CIG's been really hyping this stuff. Even last year's, they told us, wait till you get here this year, it's going to blow you away. And it was a good CitizenCon. What are they going to do this year to top last year? What do you think?
I think this year that they've learned lessons like from the VIP experience. I think they're gonna handle that way better. Not way better, but just definitely better than they did last year.
Okay.
For people who don't know, last year the VIP experience was $100 more. You get to hang out at the studio, but it was outside, and limited people could go inside because they were fire marshal and they didn't want to get in trouble. But I think they're gonna have a better plan this year to handle that, because they say it's gonna be they have a pre-party, I guess, on the Friday before.
Yeah.
So it'll be at a different venue, but it won't be at the studio. But they said that they'll be giving tours, busing busing people back and forth between the studio and the venue. So I think they'll definitely have a better feel for how they do that.
Yeah,
I think they learned lesson.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping this year someone from the press, like a journalist, will go. I don't know if if it's like if the tickets are like $200, then press won't be paying for that. But I'm hoping the CIG will maybe issue press passes and let people come.
Well, that's entirely up to the press. The press, it's two parts, right? It's CIG doing a press release, because if they don't do press releases, the press is iffy, right? But when you do a press release, the idea is to let the press know that this big event is coming. I don't know that CIG does that. I do know that there were press people from some smaller press things that did go to the event. I didn't see any press area per se, like a media area, which is something that CIG didn't create. Whether they'll do that or not, we'll have to see. There's a possibility of that. Let me say something else real quick. Paseo, yes, they have talked about Squadron 42 stuff, but my question is specifically, they talked about Squadron 42 stuff last year. I'm saying, is there anything special this year? In other words, trailer or announcement or something like that, beyond what we saw last year. What were you going to say, FC?
Oh, I do want to say that there's a Spectrum thread regarding the CitizenCon back, and I'm going to post that in a moment. But that gives even more detail, because people are asking questions, and CIG are actually responding to it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in the chat.
Okay. All right, let's bring.
There's a Spectrum that gives even more detail, so people can check that out.
Let's bring a couple people in, because we got a few people out. You can hang in here with me. I'm going to bring in Flero. He hasn't been here yet. Flero, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. What you got?
I got a lot of things.
Okay.
I think, they're going to do their typical, this is what we've been working on. This is like, maybe they'll show a new system for reputation, or even the leveling system that they showed off of strength and dexterity and all this stuff, and actually showing it in game.
Okay.
But I think in terms of big stuff, probably the Squadron 42 release date, and probably the Nix system. It could be Nix, because we got Delamar already done, right? I mean, they probably updated and stuff like that, but also Nix is just 3 planets plus Delamar, so it's a tiny system in a way.
Yeah, it's tied to Pyro.
They could even show not even just Nix, but also Magnus 2 systems, because Magnus is also tiny.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay. Those are good observations. Okay, we'll buy that for $1. Let's see what happens in October. Thank you, brother. Good stuff. Let me bring in. Let's see. I'll bring in Pops in space, and I'll bring in Cap in here. Pops, you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir. What you got?
I think. As far as the citizen, it was great. It was fantastic. But I do kind of want to bring up a point. How many more do you think we will have? I know we got this one coming up.
How many more? What, CitizenCons?
Yeah, CitizenCons.
Personally, I think they'll go on every year.
Yeah, every year.
Every year.
As long as the game
even after release.
No question about it.
Really?
No question about it. Look, think about it this way, Pops. What game do you know does conventions before a game comes out?
Just this one.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So obviously, after the game comes out, it'll likely continue. Still.
Yeah, that's the uniqueness.
Okay.
That's the uniqueness of this one, right? Because usually games are out, right? If you go to BlizzardCon or whatever it is, it's because those games are out and people are playing them, right? Remember, our population is actually very small as far as our gaming community goes. There may be 5 million accounts on the website, but there may be only 3 million, maybe 3.5 million. There are actually people who've signed up, because a lot of us have second alts, third accounts, fourth alts, and stuff like that, right? But that's still a fairly small number of people playing the game in comparison to games when they're released and successful. You may have 8 million accounts, 10 million, 12 million, 15 million people signed up for a game. So if CIG, and I'm just saying, based upon, if 3,000 people came out based on the number we're at right now, you see what I'm saying? Imagine if you've got 8 million people playing the game, right? 10 million people playing the game, you know. So CitizenCon can still continue to be something that we come together. You know, a lot about this game is about community, right? Eve, every year, people faithfully freaking travel to Iceland or to Las Vegas or Las Vegas. Yeah, CCP is based out of Iceland. And back in the day, when you went to the convention, you got on a plane and went to Iceland, and people did it with no questions asked, right? So depending on the success of the game, and that's what it's contingent upon, right? The success of the game. But there is just like Eve has its own community of people. Star Citizen has already started building a community. And I think that if they did it annually each year, there would be people, especially with the traveling, they would look forward to being able to go. Yeah, I think it would be something that would continue. Okay. Well, thank you. No, it's a very fair question, because some people might think that once everything's out, well, there's no reason to do it anymore. But I think they still will. Okay. Alrighty, let's bring in Captain Serious Fun. We'll bring him down here. Boom. Cap, you there?
Greetings and salutations.
Yes, sir. What you got?
So for me, if in thinking about the question, what will be different here? I think they won't do many things that are that different from last year's CitizenCon, but they will intensify. They will intensify the experiences, right? To Fast Card's point, VIP was sort of like they had a VIP roped off area at con. I think they'll intensify what that is. They've gone VIP party at a Fire Marshal Limited CIG LA to a gala location, right? They will go from the pyro experience that people were able to get on a computer to multiple experiences that will include new stuff that isn't out yet but will drop after everybody gets home for Squadron for the PU and a demo level of Squadron 42, right? So I think everything that they did, they will do again, but just more, better, faster, deeper, broader. Right. I think it will be a much more intense experience. I do think that the special guests notation for the gala means that we're going to get some Squadron 42 glitterati at the gala. So I do think that's one thing that's going to be different. The Henry Cavills, the Mark Hamills, the Gary Oldmans, the Mark Strongs. I just started thinking about, I think Gillian Anderson maintains a home in the UK. So I think it's going to be UK people. But I'm not willing to put any body parts on that. I was telling Passio in the chat that I almost did that last year and I would have lost some body parts. So. I ain't doing that. But I think they had such good energy from last year that they saw a formula that I think they can use as a platform upon which to build. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think in their mind they'll say, all right, so how can we do what we did last year, but just more of it and deeper and more intense and better, right? And so that's what I think they'll do in Manchester.
Okay.
And I think it's important to remember that last year was the first CitizenCon after the pandemic, after COVID, because they're supposed to do one in 2020, but life happened, obviously. So CIG was testing the water, so to speak, last year because they maybe they weren't sure whether or not it would be as popular, or maybe they had certain doubts. But I think that everything that happened in 2023 erased all those doubts. So they're gonna put the pedal to the metal, in my opinion. I think.
Okay.
I agree with that.
All right, Cap. Thank you much. All right, let me bring in Fist to Face. Fist, you there?
Yes, sir. Listen,
Okay, so for me, I like Kat was saying, and I want to double down on this. What I've said on Thursday. I don't think they're going to do anything really, like we said, anything different other than intensify, like Cap said. The thing that I was really honed in on when we read it about Thursday was the point of fact about the special guest. Now, the way in which they're doing the premium package, as far as from what I understand with the special guests, is you'll probably be able to have a meet and greet with them, I'm assuming. So my thing with that is that I'm looking forward to watching Twitter go up in flames for folks who don't get those premium tickets. Because I know from last year when folks didn't get them, how much of a ruckus there was on there then. And now you've got this extra additive thing. I mean, because you're talking like Cap just said, you know, I'm telling you, Gillian Anderson, Mark Hamill show up, Henry Cavill. If I mean, please, oh my God, you are going to see folks go.
But let me ask you a question: why would people be upset? In your opinion?
Because they can't, because they didn't get. I mean, oh my goodness, because they couldn't be able to go see something. Why do people get upset at anything? Because they can't have it. Because they can't have a golden goose that lays the golden egg, right?
Okay. So you're saying if people, it's limited seating, and it's interesting because they said it was going to be extremely limited, which I don't know what that means. Just so you guys will know, there was room for 500 people at the VIP last year. Okay. So I don't know what that, you know, when they say it's going to be at a separate venue. And by the way, this is why it's different too. The VIP party was not after the event. This time it's before. It's on a separate day all by itself. The convention is the Saturday the 19th and Sunday the 20th. But the VIP event this time is on the 18th. It's the day before the convention starts, which means people got to come to town earlier too, by the way.
And you know what? I think they changed that because of how tired and busy people were.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After the convention.
Yeah.
So that's another thing they learned, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a smart move, to be honest with you, because that's a much more chill event. You know what I mean, beforehand. But you know, after that long weekend and all the running and hustling, and then now you got to sit down and try to sit around. It's just too long of a weekend for them that way. So I think it's a smart move for them to do it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it, Fist. You know what? You know, again, you know, all I know is that they say a special guest. Now, the special guests ain't developers. I can tell you that, right? I don't know who the special guests are, but you know, we'll have to see who that is when they do it. So,
yeah.
All right, buddy.
Well,
thank you much.
All right.
Last but not least, we're going to bring in. Oh, we got Kaizen. I think Kaizen wants to come in. Let's get Stunner in. Stunner.
Hey,
any thoughts? Okay.
So I didn't jump in for the last question, but in my mind, these two kind of tie in together.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm repeating to you. You've heard me say a couple times before, like, you know, last year, the morale in the community was wavering a little bit before CitizenCon. We talked a lot about it on this show. And, you know, as positive as I am about the project, you know, I think most of us agree they had a really high bar to hit last year for CitizenCon, and they did it. They really showed that, you know, they heard the community. They came through. Obviously, you know, they had a lot of the stuff, you know, done and ready to go.
Right.
But I think that's going to be. I think this talks about what you were saying on the last question. That, you know, yeah, it's no physical proof, but the fact that we're putting out this information. First of all, they hyped it up like last year. Jared saying, "Wait till you see what we do next year." It's been nothing but confidence from them. And again, yes, we still have to see the actual stuff come through.
Right.
But you know, they're putting this stuff out there earlier this year about CitizenCon. You know, there's no lack of confidence. So you know, and they set everything in motion with even throwing the 1.0 conversation out there. So you know, I think they know what they need to do for the community and for the game. And I think that just proves that you know, things are going to come fast this year. And they'll be ready for a good CitizenCon to put on for us. I think kind of like what Captain was saying, he didn't come right out and say it, but, you know, we were kind of kept a serious fun, but we were talking about it. You know, if 4.0 drops either at CitizenCon or, you know, like right before it, you know, maybe we get multiple systems besides Pyro. So maybe that's something that people get to test, you know, there at CitizenCon, like they did the Pyro playtest last year. So I don't actually think they would do a play test of Squadron to any level. I think they want to keep that completely under wraps until it launches for people to all play it themselves. But yeah.
All right. It's all good stuff. Thank you, Stunner. Appreciate that as always. Good good information there from the good old Stunner. And last but not least, we got two more. We got Kai's in. Hey, Kai.
Hello.
Hey.
So you and I have talked about this many a time. We both are in agreement. This is going to be the CitizenCon of Squadron.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have big splashy release or big splashy super cool trailer. They're going to have special guests on stage. They're going to have details. They're going to have all kinds of stuff that kicks up the sort of hype. It's like the big debut of the super hype train that then they will build up over the following year, leading towards a release of Squadron. Maybe, potentially, possibly by Christmas, but I don't think so. I think it'll be for the following summer.
Mm-hmm.
They will, and it'll be a whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's going to be massive. I think that if you are able to go to one, this year will be the one to go to. With regard to, I want to make one thing. You guys made the comment about I think it was smart that they're doing the special event the day before. I could not disagree more. I do believe that it's smart to separate them out because it got a little too crowded and people didn't get maybe the full experience. But that VIP party is going to be renamed the Blue Ball Gala. It's literally because it's right before the day of all of the big stuff. You're going to be rubbing shoulders with all of the people that know the stuff. All of y'all are going to be like, just give us some hints on the stuff. And they're going to be sitting there playing coy. And it's going to be like a Catholic schoolgirl on prom night but without the payoff. It's literally just going to be so close. I'm edging, and then they send you home sad.
And nothing that night.
It's
Kai, I hear what you're saying, and I think it'd be like. Have you ever been to a bar citizen before?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not talking about a virtual one. I'm talking about a physical one.
No.
Okay, so typically at the bar citizen, what happen is that people try to treat like a CIG or or someone who's well known as a typical backer. That's typically what happens. So I hear what you're saying, but if people follow that let's say unwritten rule or protocol, I think it'll be okay. I hear what you're saying though, and people, there will be one or two people that go who can't help themselves. But I think overall it should be okay.
Whoa! Not like me. I'm not going. Relax.
Yeah. No, I think Kai's right. No, I think Kai's right. I think that this isn't a bar citizen. Yeah. There's a big difference. If and this is a big if fast card. If the special event is the special event we're talking about, where you do bring in these special guests, it's not just the devs, because normally it's just the devs and the backers talking. But if they bring in people, there are going to be people looking for more information at this event. Like as if they're going to get, it's like the person that wants to be able to say, Dumbledore's dead. They want to have that information ahead of time before everybody else does. And he's saying that there are going to be some people who are disappointed because they're going to get there and their lips are going to be tight.
First off, Griff, screw you. I was going to watch that later this afternoon. No, but let me just ask you this. All right, look, I got the two of you here in voice with me. I'm telling you, let me just ask you this question right now. Thinking about it, would you rather the special event, would you rather be rubbing shoulders with all these people the day before when all they got to do is look at you and smile and go, I wish I could tell you it's going to be so great, but I can't say nothing about it?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have the special event be the day after and have them go, yeah, I'm so glad that I could tell you everything now. We talked to, and now that you know what all of the stuff is, you can sit there and talk to him and say, oh, that part in the trailer where dude's head fell off, and then that other part where the ship flew into a mountain, and then the thing with the thing, how does that work? And they can actually talk about it. Which would you prefer?
Listen, I would agree with you 100% because that's exactly what happened at the VIP event last year. They literally afterwards said, we were so glad to be able to show you guys this, and we've been working. I mean, that was the type of conversation we had. I was saying that the smart side to this was for the people, for the workers, not for us.
Okay.
I'm just saying they were beat when we got to the end of that thing, because the other problem was they had to get out of the convention center. Like, you know how it is when a convention center, they're tearing down and breaking down right then and there, right? So a lot of people were still at the convention center. Some people came to the party. But even the people who came to the party, you could tell they were emotionally, physically, it had been a long weekend, And all I'm saying is that it's, to me, and because we didn't have a bar citizen, not like the official, because normally there's an official bar citizen beforehand, and a lot of the devs come. There were devs who came this time, but we didn't have the official bar citizen. So to me, that's what happens, Kai. We have gone on bar citizens before the convention the night before. They can't tell us squat. You're sitting there hoping to get something, and they lips ain't opening. People can say, "Yeah, buy them drinks, they'll talk." No, they don't. They don't.
Some
talk.
do. Some do.
No. They don't tell anything about. They don't tell anything about the con. They don't talk about the con at all.
I'm not even that guy. I'm not even that.
Well, I know you're not.
Guy.
Yeah.
I just want to get myself a dragon's milk. See Sandy Roberts from across the room and give her a "How you doing?" But other than that, I know there's going to be a lot of frustrated.
Yeah, there will be some people. Nerds. I agree. There will be some who will be expecting something different. I agree with you 100%, especially after they pay that money.
Maybe it's just me. I expect better from the community, but maybe it's just me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It ain't about that. It is not about let's say everyone is on their P's and Q's and no one asks anything. Okay. Again, fast card, tell the truth. Would you rather sit there and be a good boy and smile and be like, oh, yes, that's so lovely to see you, and you're not telling me anything, and pay for a $30 drink? Or would you rather have that same drink 2 days later where they can actually spill all the details and you can ask them questions and be inspired and have them have the chance to open up honestly and have a conversation without worrying about getting fired?
Yeah, see, I'm going to be honest, Kai. I'm going to my thinking is different from you and Griff. I'd rather they be fresh and not be running on fumes per se. Because some of them were running on fumes in LA on the Sunday event. Because like I said, it's been a 2-day event. And this time they're doing it on the day before. So maybe because I was tired too. I mean, I wasn't running on film, but I couldn't imagine being them after they did that whole long weekend, and then having to do an event, having to smile and put on the best face. So in my opinion, doing it early makes sense to me. But maybe I'm just in the minority in that.
Kai, the reality, he is in the minority. And the reality is he talks to Chris Roberts every week on the phone, so he already knows everything. So that's it. All right, Kai, thank you, bro. Good stuff. All right, let me get this last one in here, Togi, and we're gonna wrap up because I gotta be somewhere today. Unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry. Hey, buddy, he's back.
I'm gonna keep this real quick. I'm glad you put me last. All right.
Okay.
Because see, I do have the inside scoop. I know.
God.
I know.
Okay.
Who the secret guest is.
Uh-oh.
Are you guys ready?
Oh,
Are you
Lord.
sitting down? I can see you sitting down. You sitting down, Fast Car?
Oh Lord. Yeah.
I'm always sitting down, but I guess who you might say. But go ahead.
We're listening.
All right. It's gonna be. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's gonna be another roadmap.
That's probably true. We might get that as a special guest. I would hope, Togi, that we get it before then, but I hear you. Trust me, because that did happen in for those of you who don't know, in 2016, many people came to Los Angeles with the anticipation of seeing the vertical slice for Squadron 42. And Chris came out on stage and said, it didn't reach the standard of what he wanted. And I hate to tell you guys this, but we're not going to show you the thing. but we are going to show you this roadmap for 3.0. So that was our big enchilada for that weekend, and Togi remembers that. So let's just hope that's not what it is. Let's hope it's more in a more human form this time, Togi. But thanks for bringing back that nightmare. We really appreciate it. Right.
And
Okay.
To that point, I think Clive was talking about Squadron 42. I'm going to try to be careful when I think about. I think we should be careful in our expectations, because if we don't pan out, we don't want to be too disappointed if it doesn't pan out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think Passio mentioned this earlier. We're not saying that. Chris and them said it was going to be Squadron 42 this year. So all we're saying is we don't know what that will be. You know, whether it's more information, whether it's the trailer, whether it's the fact that we're about ready to relaunch, whether it's a date. We know that Squadron 42 is a theme. Like last year, we knew that Pyro was a part of the theme as well as Squadron 42. So the only thing we know right now is that there is a Squadron 42 emphasis for this year. But we will see, to Fast Card's point, you know. Again, I'm hopeful. I'm feeling excited about this year. Some of you guys are already talked about, you know, being able to go over to Manchester next year. I'm planning on it so far. I've already booked my room. I just haven't booked my flight. It's going to break my heart to buy these airline tickets. But for those of you who are interested in going, you know, I would tell you, I was just told recently that somebody told me they have some friends there in Manchester, and they said that the prices on hotels and accommodations are already going up for that weekend, probably because the word is out now. So if you are considering going, even if you book it now. If you decide not to go, there's usually room for you to cancel without taking a penalty or anything. But if you are thinking about it, please do. For those of you who are our friends over in the UK, in Germany, anywhere over there in Europe, my God, I hope that you guys come to the convention, because I would love to meet many of you. I've told some of my European friends here that I really encourage them. I really want them to come, because I hope I get to hang out with a lot of you guys while we're there. But that would be really good. No, no, Bach, I'm not going by train. No, it would be very difficult to get over there. But it'd be great to go over there and be on the train. No, I would love to ride the trains over in Europe. But that's the other thing I have to figure out, like how long I want to stay. Because obviously I don't want to just go for 3 days. If I'm there, I want to spend some time there. But I may get on a train while I'm there.
I've been making jokes and saying that we should take a cruise, take a boat back over there. Take a boat over there.
You know, it's not that.
That'd be a 7-day trip.
I was going to say it's not a crazy joke. I mean, that is a means for people if they wanted to do that, and they would just spend time on a boat going and come back. That would be a different thing. And fly back. I wouldn't want to take a boat both ways, but to take a transatlantic would be kind of cool, and fly back would be cool. But you know, just like people who had to pay big money to come to Los Angeles and who had to pay big money to go to the UK. But yeah, I am looking forward to going to that one next year or this year.
And let me make a public service announcement. Make sure you check your passport to see, make sure they're not expiring. Make sure you check your driver's license ID. Make sure they're not expiring, because you don't want to be in alert come travel time. And yeah, so like in America, it takes like 2 months,
roughly
8 weeks for the passport to go through. So plan ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I think that's about it, FC. I think we hit everything that was. You guys had some great comments and some great thoughts about fooled in April. You know, are we being fooled? Are we being fooled to think that things are going faster? Or are things going faster? Are we being fooled when it comes to the Raptor? What will happen with the Raptor? Will the Raptor really happen? But we're not being fooled about CitizenCon this year. There's a great amount of information that this is the earliest. We've never been given this much information in regard to CitizenCon before. So I think that they're trying to prepare us for it a little bit more this time. The idea of traveling to Manchester is going to be something for a lot of folks here in the States, but also even in Europe. I've got some friends there who are saying it's still, you know, to travel is going to take a little bit for them to get there. But I'm excited about going. If I don't go to the VIP event, so what? You know, somebody's asked whether or not Soul Citizens Fast Cart will be represented at the convention. We're not going to probably put in for a table this year. We did a table last year in Los Angeles. We had great success. Got to meet so many of you guys. Had so much fun with you. But the logistics of going overseas is no joke. And taking items and taking things and packing and luggage weights and all that stuff is just not something that I think that we're going to be prepared to do, because it is very expensive to do it, to ship things and stuff. And not only that, because the European shows have been smaller, I don't know if they're going to exceed the 3,000 number. Maybe they will. If hype builds enough, if they start announcing who these guests are, who knows? Maybe they'll go from 1,200 people to 2,000 or 2,500 people going. But I also think, to be fair to them, it would be great to let the vendors and people who are there in the different orgs that are over in Europe, let them have those tables, let them be represented, and then we get to check them out. Not to mention, it'd be great because I could relax and enjoy the show this time. But anyways, there are some of us from the Soul Citizens team who are already contemplating or are already booked to go there. So we will be there in force as far as a few people representing. But we probably won't do a table this year. Besides, Fast Cart might not be there, so we're not gonna do it.
Do you still have that candy?
You know what? I have a little bit of the candy because we donated a lot of that candy to CIG staff that we had. We left a big box of that for them in LA. I think we sent one box to LA, one box to Austin. And I think I have just a little bit that's still here. That candy, the candy was good too.
I know how much you bought, so I was curious.
yeah. No, when we had the party that night, I gave it to Xylo, and he put it away so that they would be able to distribute it and stuff to the developers and whatnot. So, yeah, okay. Well, I think that's it. Let's talk about what we got coming up. Well, before we get into that, let's go to this first. Today's Podsat Saturday, where we partner with several of the other Star Citizen content creators.
Don't do that.
Paul, I know. Paul Shelley with the Captain's Table, which is going on right now. We're going to be sending you guys over to them. They're talking about ship modularity. They've got HC Vertical on. They've got Space Tomato on. They've got Zirin on, and Paul's on. It's going to be a great conversation. So we're going to get you guys over there real quick so you can join in on that conversation. After Paul's show tonight is Relay SC. Those guys come on at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so you guys can join them. I'm sure they'll have some great things to talk about, especially with the roadmap and the convention and all the information that we talked about today. They'll have their own spin on it. So hopefully you guys will be able to join them tonight also. Then lastly, as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow we're doing a show called What's Wrong with Luxury? We're going to be talking about the luxury idea, the luxury career that CIG is presenting. We will see where this goes. We have special guests coming on. Am I joking? Am I dreaming here? Okay, yeah, we're going to have some special guests coming on. Execute from InfoRunners is going to be joining us, and you guys know the folks at InfoRunners, what they're known for is doing deep dives into ships and ship buildings and what's practical, what makes sense on the money level, all that stuff. Execute will be on with us tomorrow, and it's going to be a really, really cool conversation. I think I've got Fast Cart with me. Jade Star Watcher is going to be on with us, and we're going to have a great time talking about why people feel a certain way about luxury, and also what we think is wrong with luxury. What's wrong with the luxury ships in this game? What could they do better?
And Charles DCI pointed out this is episode 199. 199, one more before.
Thank you. Yes. Next week will be not this week, but next week will be our 200th episode of our Sunday show. 200 episodes. And that's because of you guys. You guys have kept us going. You've supported us. You've been here. You've cheered us on. You've said crazy stuff in chat and made us laugh. It has been really great. And we're going to be looking to celebrate that 200th episode with you guys next week. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Did I cover everything? Oh, Thursday night, don't forget, Fast Cart, Soul Talk, group conversations around the round table, talking about the latest and greatest that's going on in Star Citizen. Blackbirds, thank you so much. Thank you for that big heart. Love that. And Captain Serious Fun, thank you for the $1.99. I was going to say $1.99. No, thank you for the 199 bits. Truly appreciate that. As always, thank you for that support. We always appreciate you. I think that's it. We're going to get you guys ready to go visit with our good friend, Paul Shelley, the Astro Pub, the Astro PUB. I think that's about it. FC, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for everybody who came in as guests, who came in and gave us your thoughts and conversation. Don't y'all be shy next time. Y'all come in and talk to us because we love having you guys talk to us. It's our community show. Until then, you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And peace, love, and soul. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Ciao.